I think that's important, something you point out, because, you have guys like Jordan Peterson who really probably shouldn't be talking about this. They go on the record stating how, hey, it's cured everything. And then, they're putting out this kind of data, right?
Correct.
And then you also have people that are in the industry that for one reason or another refuting other types of diets or whatnot. Because, with you, I think, I've read your book. It's very clear to me what a good diet is. But most people are just getting hit everywhere, like, oh, I'll become vegan. Then you start becoming vegan, then your B12 starts to lower, and then you have other issues here. You say, oh, well, that doesn't work. So then I move over to this one. And then you say, well, I'm on the carnivore diet. Now everything feels great. But you don't know, in 20 years from now, you're going to have heart disease and die at 65, right? So, where does somebody start? How do you get pointed in the right direction and then continue? Because we've spoken to other professionals. Like we had somebody on the show a few weeks ago, and she's like, oh, vegans are idiots. And this is a person that understands nutrition to a certain degree, right? So, where do people start? How do they figure this out?
Well, I'm hoping they can utilize me as a resource. I've written 12 books and I've written about 10 booklets. So I've written the equivalent of more than 15 books. Eat to Live was my most famous book. It sold like 3 or 4 million copies. And then I have Eat for Life, which is my most recent book. So I recommend people go to the most recent book. And I have The End of Heart Disease, The End of Diabetes, Super Immunity. I have 7 New York Times bestsellers. So I sold a lot of books. So some people are getting it and like my work, but in any case, a good place to start is my latest book, Eat for Life. And my most recent interests have to do with, because a lot of people, they know they should eat better. They know they should lose weight. They know they shouldn't eat junk food, but they can't do it because they're addicted to their habits. And so a lot of my recent work has to do with getting people to be unaddicted and how do they get them to want to eat healthfully for the rest and stay with it for the rest of their life. And then I opened up a retreat here in California called the Eat to Live Retreat, where people can come and stay with me for a month or 2 or 3 to get rid of their food addictions, to get training and to get the mindful and wisdom teachings to know how to like eating this way, making it taste great, enjoy your life more with eating food, with being different from other people. So it gives people the ability to control their health destiny and almost guarantee a long life without mental disorders in later life. That's what I really want to, I'm into. I really want to give people the ability to do it, to like it, and to live long without having fear of losing their minds and their memory.
Yeah, there seems to be very, very deep subconscious, emotional, guilt-based triggers when it comes to eating, right? That's very fascinating that you're kind of diving into the psychology of it. Can you share a little bit more about what you're finding when you're working with patients? How can we get past those emotional things when it comes to eating? Because I know so many people that I have encouraged to get on a healthier diet, but they just can't seem to, mentally get over it.
Yeah, and they can't even consider it, or they try it and they fail and they go, that's exactly the point. Well, people are, all these little nuances we're talking about are important, but for most people out there, they don't even get close to the nuances because they can't even do the basics of eating right, The basics of eating right is having a big salad every day, having a bowl of vegetable bean soup every day with mushrooms in it, having cooked that, having flax seeds and chia seeds every day, with having berries every day, So we're talking about people don't take good care of their health and they eat in a self-destructive manner. And they're food addicts. They know it's unhealthy, but they do it anyway. And so I'm very much into that. And one thing I can't go into everything, but one thing you have to have is that you have to be so content with yourself that you don't need the approval of others people. Because you know how in this country, we're socialized to go after other people's approval. We want to get the most Facebook likes, we want everybody to like us. We want our coworkers, our family, and our friends to think highly of us. And our egos, feeling we're superior in some way to other people, and trying to, in our own minds, support that own degree of self-superiority becomes a means of people building their own self-esteem. But that's like smoking cigarettes or snorting cocaine for the brain. Just getting pleasure from thinking you're superior to other people. We have to get back to the basics here, that every person is important. We're not superior to other people. They have just as much right to happiness and love and peace as we do, and our own self-esteem has to come from internally, from our ability to see other people fairly, to have compassion for them, to want to have goodwill for them, to want the best for other people, not just for ourselves. And when we give people that wisdom, where they feel better about themselves from the opportunities they have to have a good effect on other people. And we call it creative goodwill. So a person says to you, you meet a person at a party or it's a relative and says to you, yikes, if I had to eat that way, I'd rather shoot myself. Who wants to live on carrot sticks the rest of my life? Or where, and plus you're going to be. So are you looking to give them a comeback so you could feel better than them, or that you're right and they're wrong? Or is this an opportunity to have a good effect on them and show them love? And when you take your ego out of it, when you take your ego out of every interaction, and you're not trying to make yourself sound impressive or look impressive, it enhances your ability to have a positive effect on the other person and them to benefit from the conversation. Because then you're only trying to think of one purpose, and that's creative goodwill. And it's your purpose to have goodwill. It doesn't mean it has to have worked. And a person's not going to listen to you if you don't feel you care about them anyway. So you have to get over the fact that they insulted you, and you have to try to show them you care. You have to show them you care about them, because you do. You have caring for people. You want other people to have a good life and to have a better life. And then you build your internal self-esteem from a new purpose in life that has to do with every interaction is an opportunity to have the potential possibility of having a positive effect on another person. And then you're no longer, then you're taking your own, then you don't need their approval anymore. And so many people can't eat this way because it makes them different from other people. And they feel they're getting so much disapproval, and they feel so separated from the world that they have to go back to eating their old diet again, just to get along, just to feel socially interacting with people. But the minute they convert their externally driven self-esteem to internally generated self-esteem from the way they're utilizing their practices to be role model, to demonstrate what they're doing in a proud way, which increases their ability, and their own personal health success increases their ability to have a positive effect on other people in their community and in their family and that they are around them. Then they're able to stay with this long term without having the conflicts other people have. I'm not giving everything. Of course, everything's an oversimplification, but in any case, this is where we start from.
That's an amazing perspective, especially coming from somebody I can only imagine who's met a lot of resistance, criticism, mockery, and to not allow the ego to be the motivator, but for actually helping others. I think that's incredible.